my nerds, my geeks, and my assorted diehard fans. Welcome to another episode of the podcast Confessions of a Nerdy Bible College Student. As always, I'm your host, Luc Reed, and we are back, baby. We took a little unintentional hiatus there for a bit, but we're back to our regularly scheduled episode. Sort of. It's Monday, not Tuesday. So, from now on, we'll be releasing episodes on Mondays instead of Tuesdays. Because I can. Well, actually, there is a good reason for why we're going to be doing that, but I'll get into that later. So, as far as today's episode, I'm going to take some time to talk about the show for a bit, explain the hiatus that I made you all endure, which I apologize for. I am so sorry for making you all wait for another episode. It was not very nice, and I'll try not to do it again. After that, I'm going to talk about me for a little bit, just to let you guys know what I've been up to. Been up to a lot of different things in the past 4 months, so get into that a little bit, and then just talk about the future of the show as best I can. I mean, I'm not psychic, so I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen, but just what I think, what I'm planning to do with the show as far as that goes, which, I mean, I was talking about that in December, so, you know, that will definitely be a thing to keep on the radar, but don't take my word for it. Don't take it with a grain of salt, basically. Take what I say with a grain of salt, but I do want to try to keep the show going for as long as I can. Before I get into those things, though, it's nerdy time. So, I've been up to a lot of different things, nerdy things. In the past 4 months, I've done a lot. I watched all of How I Met Your Mother and Scrubs within this hiatus, so if you're fans of either of those shows or both of those shows, then we can have conversations about those shows, because I've watched literally every episode of those shows, and they were really good. I really enjoyed those shows. I started Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. back in December while I was home for Christmas, and I was going to talk about that in episode 9, which this is episode 9, but I was going to talk about it in episode 9 in January when the show was going to come back. That was my plan. I was going to talk about how I was watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I watched through the first 2 seasons of it in like a week or something like that, so yeah, I kind of binged that a bit, especially because each episode is like, it's one of those shows where the episodes are like 40 minutes instead of 20, so yeah, that was interesting. But it's a really good show. I really enjoy it. But I'm so annoyed because Canadian Netflix doesn't have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on its lineup. So if you didn't know, there's a difference in Netflix between countries, and the Canadians actually hate the difference because they say that the American Netflix has a lot more things to offer on it. You know, I've talked to a lot of different people, and they've all said this. And I didn't really see that until I went back to school in January, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't on Netflix. And it was really annoying. I tried literally everything I could. I tried looking at some of the other websites that I use for streaming TV shows and things, and it just wouldn't work. The episodes were just like broken. And then I tried using a proxy server app thing called awhile, if you know anything about that. And the annoying thing about that is Netflix actually recognizes that now. Like, you try and watch something on the American Netflix while you're in Canada using awhile, and a message will pop up that says that your computer is using a proxy server. and it's like it won't let you watch the episodes, which is really annoying. So I haven't really watched too much of it since then. I think I watched the first couple episodes of season 3 while I was home for like 3 days in May. So yeah, I watched a little bit more. So I'm in season 3. Need to find a way to finish that. I did find one website might work. I was able to make the episodes pop up, so I might try that at some point. But anyway, I've been watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine because Netflix just released season 4 of that, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine is literally my favorite show. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So I was actually scrolling through Facebook a little while ago, and I saw some of my friends were talking about it and how they binge watched it, and because it's my favorite show, I'm not binging it. How dare you accuse me of such things? I'm only on episode 9 of 22, so yeah, not really binge watching it. I finished Scrubs, I think, let's see, it's Monday. I think I finished Scrubs on Thursday or Friday, something like that. And yeah, it was Thursday, I think. Anyway, finished that, and then I watched a couple episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and yeah, so been having fun with that. I've been playing Paragon, which, if you don't know what Paragon is, it's a MOBA, like League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, or Dota, if you've heard of those. I play Paragon on the PS4, because I have a PS4, and I like PS4. A little bit better than PC. I've been a console gamer for most of my life. It's only recently, within the past 5-ish years, that I've become a PC gamer, because I didn't have a consistent computer until my parents and grandparents got me my laptop for my graduation present, so from high school. So I didn't really get into PC gaming until like 5 years ago. So that's part of the reason why I prefer console, specifically PlayStation, because Xbox can suck it. Just kidding. I know there's probably some Xbox fans out there, so I will respect your console, even though it is not as good as PlayStation 4. Anyway, so yeah, Paragon. I've been playing that a little bit. I've been getting friends to play it because it is a multi-platform game. So you can play it on PS4, you can play it on PC, and you can play together between PS4 and PC players, which is really neat. And it's in open beta. I just found that out. I thought it was still in closed beta, so I thought you still had to pay for it, but it's open and it's free to play. You have to log in like every day for 30 days in order to get all of the heroes, though. So if you want to unlock everything, like I have already unlocked everything because I was playing when it was in alpha, I think, or like early closed beta, whatever it was. So I have almost everything. They've added a lot of cool new things since the last time I played. I had not played in a very long time. It released last year around this time, I think, and I hadn't played for a very long time, so I just recently got back into it, and the changes are cool. The map is different, and I like it. I like the new look. I like a lot of the new characters that they've added. They've added so many new characters. There were just only like 10 characters, and now there's like 50. Like, they've added so many new people. Probably exaggerating a little bit, but, you know, pretty close. Also on PS4, I've been playing Bloodborne, which I believe is a PS4 exclusive. I don't think it's on PC. I know it's not on Xbox, but I don't think it's on PC. It could be. I could be wrong. But it's on PS4. I have not really played too many of those kind of games. If you know anything about Bloodborne, it's like the Dark Souls and Demon Souls and all those kinds of games where it's extremely difficult, and when you die, you lose everything, and if you want all of your stuff, you have to go back to the spot where you died, and sometimes it'll be there, so you can pick it up again. But yeah, it's really annoying and really challenging. I couldn't even get through the first level. Like, I died probably 50 times, probably less, but I died so many times on the first level just because I could not figure out how to get through it. Like, there's all these enemies, and they do tons of damage, and some of them are one hits, which are nice. Those enemies are nice, just one hit and they're down. But then there's some that are like 3 hits, and after the second hit, their health is so low, like it looks like they're dead, but you gotta hit them a 3rd time, so that's really annoying. But I did finally get through it, and I got to a good spot, but now I gotta try to fight the first boss, and that's really hard. Like, bosses are really hard in those kind of games, and this one is definitely not an exception to that rule. So basically there's these special items that only pop up every once in a while called oil jars. And if you throw it at an enemy, then it'll get covered in oil, and then if you light that enemy on fire, then it does a lot of damage. So that's what I was trying to do, because I had 2 oil jars and 2 Molotov cocktails. So I throw the first oil jar, totally miss. Throw the second one, hit it right in the face, this giant werewolf thing, monster, whatever it is. I hit it right in the face with the oil jar. I've got 2 Molotov cocktails. I throw the first one, totally miss. Again, it's like, what is going on? I go to throw the second one, and I realize that I'm not locked on the monster anymore. So I throw it, and I hit it right in the arm instead of the face, where the oil is. So, yeah, I died pretty quick after that. It was not a good first fight, but I'll probably get in there and try to fight it again. I've got to try to finish Assassin's Creed Unity at some point. I bet there's people out there who would probably call me crazy for trying to do that, but I like the Assassin's Creed series, and from what I've heard, Unity was just buggy when it first came out, but I think it's pretty decent now. It's okay. I bought Syndicate was on sale, so on the PlayStation Store it was like dirt cheap, so I bought that because I could not find Syndicate anywhere. I would go into like EB Games or GameStop, try and find a used copy for cheap. Can't find it anywhere, so I saw it on sale on the PlayStation Store. I was like, I'm just gonna buy it. I'm just gonna buy it quick before it is not on sale anymore. And so, yeah, I have Syndicate now. I have a copy of Syndicate, and it comes with like, I think it was the Golden Edition, so it came with all the DLC and everything, so I'll probably play that soon. After I finish Unity, of course. I wouldn't want to play Syndicate before I finish Unity, so gotta try to finish Unity and then play Syndicate, and then I also wanted to play the Rogue game, and I wanted to play the DLC for Assassin's Creed 4, especially the Freedom Cry DLC. So, and it's mostly for the story, because like Paragon and MOBAs and stuff like that, like they're fun for a little bit, and they're good with team building and cooperative play and stuff like that. But I'm definitely more of a story-driven gamer. I play games for the story, and so. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to play through and finish the Assassin's Creed series before the next game comes out. They'll probably be talking about it at E3, which is in a couple weeks. Not next week. Or not this week. It's not this week, it's next week, yes. Yes, E3 is next week. So, probably talk a little bit next week about that, actually. So, yeah. Wow, I'm still just talking about the nerdy things that I've been doing. I mean, it's been 4 months, so, yeah. I am really excited for Spider-Man. The other day, I actually totally forgot how months work. So I saw the ad for Spider-Man Homecoming, which comes out in July, but I read the number and it said like 7/7/17, something like that, and I thought that meant it was coming out this week, like it was coming out in June, because I forgot that June is 6, not 7, so yeah, anyway. I got really excited, and then one of my friends said, "Isn't it coming out in July?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, right, that's how months work." So, that was funny. That's pretty much it as far as the nerdy things that I've been getting into. Except I have been talking to some new nerdy friends that I've made about nerdy things. So there's that. But I'm going to get into that later because that has to do with some other things. So, yeah. Let's get into the meat of this program. So, the show went on hiatus. Before that, though, I was talking about getting it going again and having it sometime in January, starting it up in January. One thing that I forgot to do in December, though, which I should have done, I was planning to do in the very next episode that came out, because I forgot in the last episode, episode 8, I forgot to mention it, so I was going to do it in January, and then we went on hiatus, so didn't happen. But since this is the next episode in the series, I'm gonna do it now. So Ryan Genereaux, who is a big fan of the show, actually just went out and made a logo for us out of the blue. Like, he didn't say anything about it beforehand or anything. He just one day emailed me and said, "Here, I made these logos for you. Like, Merry Christmas," basically. I was like, "Oh, dude, this is awesome." Like, before we just had like our hand-drawn logo, which was really nice. Thank you to my friend who made that. But yeah, just to have this nicely, it looks nice. It's very professional. That's the word I'm looking for. Professional. It looks very professional. It looks really good. So, Ryan, thank you so much for the logo. I will be using it for the show, and I will keep the show going. Probably hear this episode and, hear this shout out. So, thank you. So yeah, the hiatus. I was not planning to go on hiatus. I was planning to keep the show going, but as you guys found out in December, Gwen left the show because she was leaving school. So she did not come back for the semester. She visited for a little bit, and she was talking about the podcast, and I was just like, yeah, I haven't really done anything with that. So that was one problem. I didn't have a co-host. I was looking for a new one, but that was kind of hard. People got their own things going on and everything, and I was planning to get like a team together to kind of help, so I wasn't doing everything all by myself. I was going to have somebody running social media for me, and having somebody write the episodes, and having somebody do like kind of take care of the like guest and getting people on the show, that kind of thing, like the kind of like a manager almost. So I was gonna do that, and then I was just gonna kind of continue to like run the show, and have this team together to kind of help me get things going and keep things going and keep things running. But I just kind of just dropped it. I got busy and I was working on other things, and I was trying to do well for school, so just wasn't able to continue on. But it's summer now, so I can do that. That actually leads into the next thing, which is me. I'm just going to talk about me a little bit. So, yeah, I got busy with school, and it was good I did. I actually finished this spring semester with 3 B's and an A, which if you listen to the last episode, I was definitely concerned about this semester because usually I do poorly in the spring. Usually I end up with like B's and C's. So the fact that I went this whole semester with B's and A's like was huge accomplishment. I was proud of myself, and there were probably a lot of people that were proud of me for doing so well. And yeah, so I had a good semester at school, and I was able to get closer to being done with my online courses. I'm still not quite finished with them, which is why I was not able to graduate this spring. I had to finish those and go on internship still. So I did not graduate, but I didn't feel ready, honestly. This year I felt like I was not ready to graduate yet. So I just kind of was like, I'll go on internship this summer, and I'll finish my online courses this summer, and I'll have my degree in August. I'll be done with my bachelor's. I'll probably, I think they'll probably mail my diploma to me, and then I'll be able to walk in April, May, whenever they have graduation. It's in the spring. They only have graduation in the spring at Kingswood, so I'll be able to walk then. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to do that this summer. I'm on internship in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Actually, I found I was in the student center at Kingswood one day, and I saw an advertisement for this little church center thing that was going on in Winnipeg, and I sent in my resume because it interested me, and the guy got back to me, and he said that he was going to be actually at Kingswood in March, so he and I could touch base and everything then, and we did. Great guy, Pastor Justin Bradbury, out here in Winnipeg at the New Horizons International Church, because they get a lot of immigrants out here in Winnipeg, so that's what his ministry is focused on, is the immigrants who come in from Asia and Brazil. Like, there's so many different immigrants from all over. So, yeah, I was interested, and he told me, we wouldn't be able to pay you because you're not Canadian. If you're Canadian, we could pay you because we get a grant from the government, kind of thing. And I didn't feel deterred by that. I felt encouraged, actually. I felt really passionate. I was like, this is something I need to do. I need to do this internship. This is what my internship needs to be. And that just got, like, I felt that even clearer once I got into Winnipeg. I actually drove all the way out here from New York. I stopped in New York in like the first week of May for like 3 days. It was like I got in Monday. I drove all day Monday, got in Monday. I was there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and I left Friday morning. So it was crazy. So yeah, crazy trip. But as I drove into Winnipeg on Sunday of that week, I just felt kind of like what I felt the first time I went to Kingswood. I felt like I was right where I belonged. I felt like I was where God wanted me to be. And so I was really encouraged by that. And that has just been confirmed again and again and again through the work that I've been doing over the past few weeks. And it's just been a really great time. I am really enjoying myself. I'm enjoying the work that I'm doing. I'm enjoying the ministry that I get to do. It's not exactly teaching English, it's more just helping immigrants practice their English. So we have midweek programs where on Tuesday in the afternoon, we have like a English cafe, and it's a little bit more formal, so basically we break up into like 3 different leveled groups. There's level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 3 is like those that are more fluent and better with English. They understand it better, everything. And then 2 and 3, or 2 and 1. 1 is beginners, 2 is, intermediate kind of thing. And basically, we just kind of read through things that are going on in the news. You just have the immigrants practice their English, practice reading the news, and then we just go over anything that they might not understand, whether it's in the news, the reading, or any other questions they might have, especially pronunciation. That's the question that we get the most. Is they have a hard time with their pronunciation of words, so they just want to understand how to pronounce different words, and then the next thing, the question that we get the most is, what does that mean? Like, what does that word mean? Like, what does that mean to me? When would I use that in a conversation, kind of thing? So, yeah, that can be really interesting. We get really random words, and they just want to understand what it means, what context they would use it in, kind of thing. So, that can be interesting. As an example, last week, one of the words was tucked. They didn't understand when you would use the word tucked. So I kind of just was, because we were talking about being tucked into bed, I think, or something like that. And so just kind of wondering, what context would I use that? And I was like, well, it usually has to do with like a pocket of something, your blankets become like a pocket, and you're tucked away in your blankets in bed, or like you tuck money away into your pants pocket, kind of thing. So, yeah, it was interesting, some of the conversations we get into. So yeah, it's really great internship. I'm excited for the rest of it. I've been out here for a month. It's June now. I started in early May. So, yeah, it's been good, and now I get to do the podcast some more. So that actually brings me to the next point. So I was, as part of the internship, we have to talk to our fellow interns. We basically have a question posed to us from the professor who leads the internship, and we have to answer the question, and then we have to respond to one of our classmates' answers. So that can be interesting. But anyway, one of my friends commented on one of the things that I said when we were talking about days off. And he said, it's a good thing that you have a day off that's consistent every week, but should you really be doing schoolwork on that day? Like, does schoolwork recharge you? Kind of thing. It was basically what the question was. And it got me thinking, and I mean, schoolwork kind of gets me recharged a little bit, but I remembered that doing this podcast really got me recharged. So Mondays are my day off, So I'm going to try to do the podcast on Mondays. So there's why the podcast is going to be on Mondays, because it's my day off. And doing this podcast really gets me charged up, really gets me feeling recharged and ready to go. So that's what I'm going to start doing. Now, for the rest of the summer, I'd like to try to get some guests on. It'll probably just end up being me by myself without a co-host, which is fine. I can write episodes myself and everything, and then just have guests. I don't have a problem with that. Especially because it's a small and simple podcast. It doesn't take too much to do it, so I'm going to try to keep doing it over the summer and maybe get some guests in. There's actually a couple that I'm working with at the center. They are also interns. They graduated from another Bible school, and they are just kind of on internship for experience. I don't think it's like an academic thing like it is for me. So, but they're really nice, and they're my new nerdy friends, because they are actually like really nerdy. Like, he reads manga a lot and she watches anime. She's like all into Fairy Tail and all that, and they're trying to get me to keep watching Fairy Tail because I kind of stopped watching Fairy Tail for a little bit. So yeah, and when I talked to them about the podcast, she was interested. She said that she would want to be on it at some point. So probably I'll just run the show and write the episodes and do all the things that I do, and then just have different people on as guests, just kind of ask them questions and talk about different things and stuff like that. We haven't actually had an anime episode yet, so that would be good. I could talk to her about anime. I could talk with him probably about gaming a little bit, because I know he's into gaming. So that was actually one of the very first things that I learned about him when we were first introduced. We were having a conversation, and I can't remember what I said. I said something, and the girl leaned over to her husband and said, "That's like in League." And I was like, "Oh, you play League?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I used to, but all of my friends switched over to Heroes of the Storm, so I've been playing that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I actually have that downloaded on my computer. I haven't played it yet, but it's on my computer. So maybe I might play that sometime eventually. I don't know. Maybe. I've got so many games to play, so many shows to watch. Like, man, I don't know when I'm gonna ever have time for anything. But yeah, I'll get to stuff. I'll get to my stuff. I'll use my days off for the things that recharge me, like shows and games and doing this podcast. So I'm going to commit to that. I'm going to commit to doing the things that recharge me on my days off. So that's going to be my goal for, one of my goals for this summer. I've got several things I've got to do. Oh man, so many things. I'm going to be helping to run a summer camp, Christian summer camp. I've never gone to a Christian summer camp before. I went to summer camp once when I was younger, and I actually wanted to be like a cabin counselor there, but that didn't happen. So this is good. It's good that I'll get to do that, but it's going to be busy. It's going to be a very busy summer. So try to take the time off when I can, and I might have to do the recordings for episodes on different days because of the schedule and everything, or something. I'll figure something out for getting guests on here. Might not be able to do it on Mondays. I might have to record on different days, and then I'll post things on Mondays. Like that'll definitely happen. I'll edit and post things on Mondays, so that will be consistent. It's just when I record might not always be consistent. So I'll have to wait and see.
that's all I really have to talk about for today. Thanks for listening in. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed listening to me just talk and talk and talk. But thank you for tuning in and listening to the show. Just as a reminder that I always throw out at the end of the episodes, don't forget to follow the show on Facebook. We have a Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CNBCS podcast. So the CNBCS is all capital, and then podcast is capital P, oddcast, lowercase oddcast. We have a Twitter page, which is at CNBCS podcast, exactly the same as the Facebook page. And we're also on Instagram. If you have any of those social media outlets, you can definitely find us there, and you can follow us, and you can post stuff on there, like your comments and your thoughts and your opinions on different things. And, if you do that, they could even end up on the show. I could bring up different things that different people say, and those could even be topics for shows. So, if you want to let us know what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're going through, whatever, just post it on the social medias, and we can talk about it probably. Last thing, I always bring this up, just kind of a disclaimer that this show is not something from Kingswood. It's not a product of theirs. It's not endorsed by Kingswood. It's literally just an independent project that I started and I came up with and I'm doing for me, but also for the people that I think would want to listen to me as a Bible college student and my thoughts and opinions, because I'm going to be a leader in a church, and so I think that makes a difference between a lay person that's a Christian. Like there's a podcast I listen to called the Geeks Under Grace, and it's it's normal Christians, normal everyday Christians, which there's nothing wrong with being a normal everyday Christian, but there's nothing wrong with working in ministry either. So I just thought that I might have a different take on things as someone who is planning to be a leader in the church as opposed to just a normal average Christian. I mean, leaders in the church are just average Christians too, but you know what I mean. There's a difference. So I just figured I'd throw my thoughts, feelings, and different things that I want to talk about out there. So, if you enjoy it, then follow us, and if you don't, then, don't. It's really up to you. Next week, I will be talking about E3. I don't know if I'll have a guest, but, maybe I'll have someone to hang out with and talk to. Maybe I could try to figure out how to do like a Skype call podcast thing. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. I might try to figure that out. But until next week, I'm Luc Reed, and this has been CNBCS. Stay nerdy, dive into the Word, and have a blessed week. Thank you.